The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Thank you for joining us for this webinar, Online Sales Strategies. This is a three-part series. Today is part one, Selling Services Online. I'm your moderator, Renee Goodnow from New York Small Business Development Center. As you can see on the screen, joining us today is Andrew Flam and Julie Gauthier. Our presenter is Julie, and Andrew is the Center Director at Pace University. Can I get a quick hands up from attendees letting us know we have good audio? Perfect. Thank you. As I mentioned, your host is the Pace University Small Business Development Center. And joining us to introduce our presenter is Center Director Andrew Flam. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to type them in your questions box as they come up, and Julie will answer those at the end. We'll also be sending the recording out to attendees after the webinar, so you won't need to worry about that. And with that, I will turn things over to Andrew to introduce Julie.
Great. Thanks so much, Renee and Julie. Can you guys hear me okay as well? Excellent. So thank you all for being part of the session today. As Renee mentioned, my name is Andrew Flam. I'm the Regional Director of the Pace University Small Business Development Center. We're part of a network of 22 centers throughout New York State, providing no-cost assistance to entrepreneurs looking to either expand or launch their small business. We do a wide range of services, both one-on-one individual sessions with our professional business advisors, as well as providing a range of webinars such as this to help entrepreneurs kind of grow and looking at kind of deeper dives into particular topics. I'll touch first on kind of the one-on-one services that are available. Our business advisors, as I said, kind of provide these arrangements, historically in person, but at this moment we're doing one-on-one sessions virtually. So if you are a small business owner interested in looking at obviously improving marketing and sales of your business, existing or startup, as well as other issue areas such as access to finance, operational issues, trying to find government contracts. Clearly a big ticket item with us these days is kind of working on COVID related recovery, access to finance, kind of re-engaging what your business venture might be, and that sort of thing. So all of our services are offered at no cost. So if you're interested in setting up a one-on-one session with a business advisor, I will put into the chat, I guess, how you can go about doing that. It's a quick one-page counseling request form, takes 3-4 minutes to complete, and then your closest center will be in touch with you. What I'll also do is I'll put in the chat, I guess, a list of our upcoming training sessions. We're lucky enough to have Julie along with us for a couple of sessions. We'll be focusing on different components of the different work, whether you're looking at services, online products, or physical products, depending on kind of your niche marketplace and the things that you offer. Julie will be able to provide some terrific insights into different areas. But we do have a number of other sessions that are available, so we hope you'll be able to join us for those as well. And again, just sort of thank you all for taking the time to be with us today. And my brief intro remarks for Julie Gauthier is she is a colleague of mine at Pace University. She's an adjunct professor at Seidenberg School of Computer Science at Pace, and we are delighted to have her along with us to review some key strategies for you all as you're building and growing your business. So Julie, thanks so much for being part of the session today. And the table, or I guess the floor, as I should say, is all yours. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you, Renee. Thanks everybody for being here. Let me present this real quickly here. Okay, my name is Julie. I graduated from Pace University with a degree in computer science in 2015 and my master's in 2018. I've been an adjunct professor at Pace for 5 years now, and I teach a bunch of classes in the computer science department. But one of my passions has always been entrepreneurship. When I was in college, I started a business so that I could teach more students how to make websites. And that was kind of inspired by some of the other small little businesses that I had started while I was in school. So in this 3-part series, I'm going to talk about all of the stuff that I've sold online. And it's broken down into, today we're going to talk about the services that I have sold online. We'll also talk about digital products and physical products and how to sell them online and how to find the right tools for selling these things online and how to find your customers on the internet. I personally, I've worked remotely also for the last 3 years. So a lot of my world just exists in doing things in front of the computer. Some of the things that I have sold online include tutoring services, web design services. I also sell custom laser engraved cutting boards and other decorations, tea towels, custom designed t-shirts. I've sold a bunch of curriculum and learning materials for web design and also seminars as a service. So the first thing that I started selling online actually was tutoring. I believe it was my junior year of college, and I had been teaching a good bit. I'd been teaching all the web development skills that I had learned as a student, and also through internships and things. So I had been doing a lot of this work already with web development and computer science, and I understood that there was a market for this. There were a lot of people that were trying to learn web development. I'd been talking to a lot of boot camps in New York City and doing some small speaking engagements there on the things that I had learned and my perspective as a student. And so I thought I might as well try tutoring, see who is out there looking for instruction in web development. So I was planning on just doing tutoring in person, and I didn't want to target my fellow students because I knew that they had a lot of similar skills as I did, and we worked together on so many things. So I wanted to focus on the outside community. So I joined a tutoring platform called Wisant, and they had an insane commission fee. It was 40% for the first 20 hours that you tutored, and then it dropped to 30%. So it was so much of the money that I was making, and I was charging $50 an hour, but still it was frustrating to then only get $30 an hour. But Wisant was really good at connecting people looking for tutoring with tutors. So I joined Wisant, stuck around on it. I also made flyers, just physical flyers that I put up in my building, I put up in the school, and at some cafes around Pace downtown. And so I started going through all of I got a huge influx of people on Wisant said, hey, I would love for you to tutor my child. And so I did a few tutoring sessions, and what I would do is I would take that first meeting through Wisant. They had, I hope there's nobody from Wisant that's on this call right now. They had a way to detect in messages if I was trying to take somebody off of their platform so that they wouldn't get the commission fee. So I would take the first meeting on Wisant. Wisant would get their commission fee. Also, Wisant didn't pay out until I had over, I think, $200 or something. So that was a little bit frustrating. But at that first meeting, I would ask my clients if they wanted to use PayPal in the future. And I gave most of them a deal where I said, I'll just do $40 an hour if you pay me through PayPal, because it was $10 cheaper for them. It was $10 more for me. So it worked out really well. Eventually, on Wisant, somebody who was physically in China but traveled to the US regularly found me and told me that they wanted a private web development instructor. We got along really great. They also just wanted some instruction in learning English. So I set up these daily Skype classes. We came up with a whole individualized curriculum. He paid me $50 an hour for 10 hours a week. And especially as a college student, that was fantastic. And so that was kind of when I realized that this isn't a huge business for me. This isn't a company that I'm starting. This is just a small thing that I'm doing on the side to make some money. And I encourage anyone to try to do this. It's super empowering, and it's a great way to share your skills and share your abilities with people in the community. So I think especially teaching, I know it's very fulfilling for me. Teaching is a great way to do this, but there's a lot of other services that you can offer on the internet if you just think about how you're going to administer those services. Some services that are sold frequently online, this was just my 30-second list that I see all the time. Writing, especially content creation. I know that when I need to come up with content for classes, writing is one of my strengths. That's fine. I can write tutorials until the cows come home, but I would definitely pay somebody who is good at making videos. So that's a service that I would buy online. And that advice too. Web design is another service very frequently sold online. You don't need to be in the same room to design a website together. So that's something that you can do remotely. Executive assistantship. I have a few friends who also did something like this in college, where somebody just needed somebody online to help them keep their email inbox organized, keep their calendar organized. And so they paid one of my friends $15 an hour to just be online and have access to these accounts so that they could keep them organized. Bookkeeping is another common service that you'll find available that people can do remotely. So if somebody has access to all of your accounting documents, they can do bookkeeping. Coaching as well. One of my good friends actually just started a career coaching business, and it's really incredible. She does meetups to gain interest, and so she does these co-working hours, and they're just phenomenal. But she's helped so many people really advance their careers in technology. So that sort of coaching service is a useful, valuable thing that you can offer online. Same thing with tutoring. So just to be really clear about what we're going to talk about today, you can create software that provides a service. That's called software as a service. That's not what we're going to talk about. I will talk about automating services that you can deliver a little bit, but what I'm talking about is just this individual one-to-one relationship that a service provider and their client have. And another way to think about services and how they can be a little bit different, they're asynchronous services. So can I collect some information? Can I find out what this person needs, produce the thing that they need, and then get back to this person and have that kind of working relationship? Or synchronous. So is it a service that I can deliver over a video call or over a voice call at a specific time? So in terms of asynchronous services, I'm talking about content creation, so writing, logo design, things like that, or a synchronous service, so something like a tutoring session or a coaching session. So I would like this to be an open conversation here, and I would really like for everybody to do my 2 favorite brainstorming activities, and so we're going to do them together. I will show you the things that I come up with as well in doing these brainstorming conversations. So I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes on my phone here. The first one we're going to do is we're going to list every way that you could make money if your chosen career didn't exist. So by trade, I am a software developer. I'm going to list all of the things that I could do to make money if software development didn't exist, if it wasn't an option. So I'm going to escape out of here. I'm going to set my timer, and I am going to just pull up a blank Google document. And I'm going to just do a brainstorming session, and I want everybody to do this with me. Okay, so, all right, I'm gonna start the timer. 5 minutes, every way that you could make money if your chosen career did not exist. And go. Let me make sure that this is being shared.
It looks good on my end, Julie. I can see it.
Cool. So I'm thinking about all of my hobbies and all of the things that I really love doing. It doesn't just have to be services. It could also just be things that you know that you're good at. We've got a minute 20 left. All right. Okay, so the purpose of this brainstorming exercise is just to show you all of the different ways that you could make money that aren't the way that you think that you would normally make money. So there are so many different options, and the first time that I did this exercise was on my last day at my first job. At my going away party, a few of my coworkers and we were all a little bit unhappy at that job. And so we all sat down together and we did this brainstorming exercise. And it was incredibly powerful to see all of the different skill sets that were in the room and all of the different ways that we thought I could make money doing this. So this, I think, is just a great way to get your brain going on things that you are good at that you could translate into a service that you can sell online. We're going to do one more brainstorming exercise. So I'm going to add a page. All right, now we're here. Okay. So the next one, I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes again, and we're going to brainstorm everything that you could talk about for an hour. If you had to put together a talk for a conference or something, what's something that you could talk about for an hour? Or if you just needed to speak stream of consciousness, an hour about one topic, what are those topics that you could talk about for an hour? So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes and hit start. All right, things I could talk about for an hour. minute 20 left. All right, that's time. So I hope everybody has an awesome long list of all of the things that either maybe you have talked about for an hour or more, or things that you think that you could talk about for an hour or more. So part of the fun of this is seeing how diverse your interests are and thinking about all of the things that you've experienced in your life, that they don't have to be so unique. Like, it doesn't have to be something that only you could talk for an hour about, just something that you could talk for an hour about. So you can kind of see that the cross section here, my interests are outdoorsy, are tech related, are education related, and are youth related. So it's a lot of just experiences that I've had and things that I'm super interested in. And so this is another great place to start thinking about services that you could offer online. At the beginning of the pandemic, I posted to my Facebook that, and I've been working remotely for, again, a very long time. I've been selling services remotely for a very long time. And so I just posted on my Facebook, hey, if anybody wants help deciding on something that they could do online, give me a shout. And this woman who I had only met once so many years ago said, I have no idea what I could do. And I remembered that her house was gorgeous. Her house was absolutely beautiful. And so I said, well, I think that you could help people come up with interior decorating ideas. I think that you could Skype with people. They could take you on a video tour of their house, and you could give them some ideas of beautiful ways to decorate their home. And so it's just thinking about all of those little things that you might just be excellent at, that you want to share those talents with other people. So it's fun to completely remove yourself from how you typically think of yourself as a professional and move into who you are as a person and how you can share your individual talents. So with those brainstorms, I hope that the wheels are starting to turn. The next step to figuring out how to take that skill is how to turn it into something digital. So the first thing to do is figure out how to do it without any technology. How would you do this if you didn't have the computer? Is there a way? The next thing is to figure out the most basic amount of tools that you could possibly use to get this skill out there to provide this service. And so in a lot of cases, honestly, you can serve your skill via a video conferencing tool. So through Zoom, through FaceTime, through Skype, through Google Meets. There are so many different options right now for video conferencing. The technology is great. And so it's a good place to start thinking how you can serve that skill digitally. You might not need a fancy platform. You might just be able to start from square one right here, reaching out to friends and family, finding those customers, and just offering your services via phone call, via email, via video call. And so at the end of this call, I'm going to leave some time. So if you do have an idea for a specific service and you want advice on how to find the best tool, if you think that there is a specific tool that you need, then we will go over that. So I know you all are seasoned business experts, and so you want to jump right into doing things the proper businessy way of creating a contract, creating, you know, your own sole proprietorship or your own LLC. But I think in this case, if you're just testing out how you can sell a skill of yours online, how you can create a service for somebody, that it's a good idea to just go ahead, try it out to get your first paying customer before going all in on the tech and registering a company. Obviously, there's legitimate business practices that need to be observed, but if you just have your friend who wants help writing a blog post, who wants some editing done on their blog post or something like that, have them PayPal you. See that you have somebody that you can sell this service to. So in finding those right tools, again, just be thinking about the fewest number of tools that you could possibly use to get your service to your client. So some video conferencing tools. If you are just consulting with somebody and you're trying to develop something like a blog post for them, or you're just passing back and forth a document that needs to be edited, and you guys are working together on a tool or on a piece of information, on a piece of content, email, Dropbox, Google Drive, a phone call. So there are plenty of ways that you can set this up for yourself. You want to build a landing page, that's awesome. You can build a WordPress page really quickly. You can use Squarespace or Wix to just get a page up as quickly as possible, so that you have a home base for the service that you're offering. But the biggest amount of technology that you're going to use is in marketing. And even this, you can keep it super simple. If you're just trying to get some people, friends and family is where to start. Online communities where your potential customers hang out. So if you are offering a service for, if you're offering, let's say, editing, for blog posts, then you want to find the communities of blog writers online. There are a ton of online communities for blog writers that exist on Reddit, on Indie Hackers, places where those communities exist, so where other bloggers are talking to each other. Another place that I hadn't really considered for trying to sell services is Facebook Marketplace. But if you don't have to sell an item, you know, there's kind of a lot of freedom in how you can post things. So if you just grab a picture of, or make a flyer or something really quickly, put it up on Facebook Marketplace that you're offering tutoring services for a particular subject, or a coaching service. If maybe you're a really amazing soccer player, and you're offering coaching services. So you can put that up on Facebook Marketplace. Craigslist is another place. Sometimes it's really nice to tap into those local communities when you're trying to sell services. Social media ads, if you're trying to go big, you can buy ads on Facebook for pretty cheap. But honestly, you're going to have the best return by just going to those online communities where your potential customers would hang out. A lot of towns too, if you're in a smaller town, there's probably a Facebook group for people in your town. That's another great place to post your service. And then a way to accept payment. So if you are using a particular tool or service to deliver, then they might have a payment system already built in, like Wyzant did. Or you can use PayPal if you want to set up your own website, if you're setting up a proper website that people can book appointments with you and book your services and pay through that website. You can set up those websites with Stripe or with Square. Venmo is another easy way to accept payments if you're doing services. And you can set up a business account, definitely on PayPal, definitely on Stripe, also on Square. So if you want to form an LLC, you want to have that business account, that's totally cool. For marketing your service, again, you want to think small first. So especially if you're doing a service online, you can think about it a lot more if you just wanted to start this small business in your hometown. It's not about creating this huge scalable thing. It's just about getting paid enough per hour to deliver your service to clients. So you don't need thousands of clients. You probably only need a dozen. So you want to think small first. So you don't need to go straight for the Facebook ads. Services are very time consuming. So it's a lot of one-to-one customer-client relationships. So you don't need that many. So a great place to start is family and friends. Or if you have a specific niche that not a lot of your family and friends are involved in, online communities, Facebook, Reddit, and Craigslist are all great places to find either your local community, you know that there's people in your community that are looking for your service, or if you're offering your service entirely remotely, you can find those communities on Reddit, also Facebook groups as well, or physical flyers in your community. I mentioned I did that for when I was teaching tutoring. So if you want to make physical flyers, there's a really cool tool called Canva that makes great digital flyers that you can also print out. It just makes it super easy and super cheap. Also Adobe Spark to make fast flyers. If you are open to international clients, again, I mentioned that one of my first clients for my tutoring service was a man who was based in China, and he knew that he wanted an American web developer to be teaching him web development because he wanted to participate in tech conferences in the US. So almost all of those tech conferences are conducted in English. So he knew he wanted to hire a native English speaker. And so the place where he looked was New York City. So he was looking for tutors that were based in New York City. If you are open to international clients, if you're based in New York City, that's awesome, because more people will be looking in New York City to find people like you. If you're based in a smaller community that's close to New York City, close to Boston, is close to a bigger city, I would go ahead and post that your service. I would post any information about it in the bigger city community, just because those international clients I live in Coventry, Connecticut. No one's going to Google Coventry, Connecticut web development tutors. They're going to Google New York City web development tutors. And so the last part of that is just your follow through. So there are a couple scheduling tools. Again, with services, it's a lot of that one-to-one. If you are providing a service for a larger group of people, so for example, if you are doing a webinar for a bunch of people that are interested in something that you can teach, Doodle is a web platform that enables people to indicate their availability so that you can schedule things. And for one-on-one meetings, I found that Calendly has been a lifesaver. You have your available time slots, and you can have people just click on this link, see your available time slots, and click one that works for them. It saves a lot of that back and forth. So again, if you're just planning on having video calls to deliver your service, this is great. Just set up those video call meetings. You can automate that piece of cake, and then just wake up in the morning, look at your calendar, and you've got it figured out. For invoicing, so if you are on a video call and you can just have your client send you a payment over PayPal, that's great. If you need to create invoice statements, there are a lot of free templates online. I usually just Google invoice template and fill in all of my invoice details, send it over. In invoices, make sure that you're very detailed about the service that you provided. Make sure that the value that you provided is really clearly written out. And when your business does get more serious. So if you're working with family and friends, if you're working with a few trusted clients, fine. You maybe don't need a contract to get started, but if you are offering a bunch of services to people that you don't know or that you don't work with regularly, it's a great idea to have a contract written up that before you start with the service, that you have that contract is in writing, everybody signed it. But again, if you're just interested in getting started, if you're just interested in launching a service and seeing if you can get people to pay you to deliver your skill, then go ahead and just start with friends and family and accept payments in a way that's convenient to you. So that that client relationship management is so important with services, because in so many cases you are just working one-on-one. So you want to make sure that you're responding to all of your clients' emails. You want to make sure that you're meeting regularly. This is rarely just a set it and forget it kind of thing that you can do online to make money. This is something where you have to kind of be with your own customer service person and build that relationship with your client. So these are just my tips to keep in mind in terms of selling services online. I would really love to answer some questions. And also I will hopefully see you all at my next webinars. Next Monday is going to be selling digital products online. So digital products being like ebooks, course content. If you have videos that you want to sell exclusive access to, images, things like that, artwork that you only want to sell digitally, that's awesome. So selling digital products online next Monday, and selling physical products online on Thursday, September 24th. So opening up an Etsy store, a Shopify store, maybe if you want to try drop shipping, if you want to sell custom goods that you hand make. Personally, my handmade gift business is my favorite. And it's just a simple thing that I set up on Etsy. I'm going to move it over to Shopify real soon, but it's something that I absolutely love talking about. So let me pull up the questions here.
Thank you, Julie. I think the first one for you is from Matthew. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the links in for the next 2 webinars in the chat for folks if they want to register.
Awesome. Let me stretch out my window here a sec so I can read these easier.
While we're waiting, Julie, I guess I just wanted to jump in quickly and say thank you so much. I think there were some terrific insights. I should probably put this on as well. I will join there we go. A couple of things that I want, while you're kind of reading through some of the questions, a couple of things that jumped out for me in terms of what Julie was referencing, and in particular, kind of really good tie-ins to the offerings that the Small Business Development Center Network provides at no cost for you folks on the phone, or I guess on the session today, or others you may know, in terms of one-on-one sessions that we can offer to assist. Julie is referencing kind of business structure, thinking about kind of what kind of formation your business is going to be as you start to think that through. Once you start to get some clients and get some traction, we can certainly help you in terms of processes on that front. The landing page to kind of help describe kind of who you are and what you do, I think is a dynamite recommendation. Our center at Pace University, as well as another number of our colleagues throughout the state, have business advisors who focus on marketing related issues. So if there's guidance and support and help you need in terms of helping build targeted and limited websites, we can certainly help you with that. And as we're all located on university campuses throughout the state, if you're looking to identify interns who are dynamite, certainly I can kind of make a plug for the Pace students, but I know that a lot of my colleagues as well throughout the state have very talented students that can kind of help you in these regards as well. What else did I want to mention? Invoicing and client management, I think in terms of making sure, I mean, the fun stuff is what Julie's talking about making sure that you can kind of get the word out about kind of who you are and what you do and what you're excited about, but making sure that you have a foundation of business skills behind it in terms of how to manage your operations. Our business advisors can really help you a lot with that in terms of making sure you have an understanding of invoicing, making sure you have an understanding of kind of the your business finances. So please do take advantage of our business advisors. They offer these services at no cost, and I think it'd be a really excellent addition to your team as you're pulling things together. So, thanks again, Julie. I'll step out again.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Yeah, the Small Business Development Center is amazing. This workshop was definitely just to get those ideas flowing for you, so you can start to think about how you might want to be turning your skills into a business. So again, to answer Matthew's question, to find freelance writing gigs other than networking, there are so many websites that seem like scams, and I know that it's impossible to get any freelance writing gigs even off of something like Fiverr, or any of those like gig-based platforms like that, because there are so many people that are offering services for so much cheaper. However, if you can build up an awesome portfolio, you're more likely to get people who will go to Fiverr to pay more money for those services, like freelance writing and freelance writers. But I would say that the best way to get freelance writing gigs for me has been pretty much, networking, especially on Twitter, and being part of communities of bloggers. So on Twitter, I talk to a lot of other bloggers. I'm part of a community called Nest Labs, and it's a lot of people that are interested in how the process of learning and how to write about it, and how writing is really important to that process of learning. So those are the places where I've gone for freelance writing gigs. Let's see if there are other questions here. This is recorded and you should get a recording. I will also share the slides if you're interested.
Julie, I think that last one was for Andrew from Gail. She was curious about the marketing services. Andrew, I sent you that note from Gail, and then there's a new one in from Peggy at the bottom.
Either one from Gail, thank you. I'll follow up with Gail offline.
Excellent. And when is blogging better than Facebook posts? Honestly, I would always do both. Blogging, sometimes it's very hard to build a viewership on a blog. Again, it's about finding those niche communities online, and I find most of those niche communities on Twitter, and so I'll find a friend on Twitter that is friends with somebody else that is part of this other community. So those are typically the ways that I would get more views on a blog post. Facebook posts, especially for if I'm doing a service, typically the service that I would be offering is something that I know that people in my community need. And I would always love to start local rather than start broadly with a blog post. So sometimes those Facebook posts are more powerful because you're communicating more directly with people who need the service that you're offering.
Thank you, Julie. I had a question. For Google My Business, is it just as important to have a Google My Business page when you're selling a service as it would be if you were in a brick and mortar space?
Yes. So the trick is always search engine optimization. Most people now, nobody types in URLs at this point. So it's really important to be able to have a page come up pretty immediately if somebody was Googling for that service. So for example, if I were to Google running coaches in my area, it's really important that those results come up, that if somebody's offering a running service, that it would come up there.
Very cool. Thank you. I think that might have been our last question.
All right.
Awesome. Well, again, folks, we put in the chat registration information for the next 2 sessions if you want to join us again. And as Julie mentioned, we'll get the recording to you out shortly. We'll attach that to an email from GoToWebinar, and we will include Julie's slides in that. But again, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Andrew. And thank you so much, Julie, for presenting. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, so much for attending.